Here we are in the orchard. It's the last last Tuesday of October. Mopping up. Most of the apples have either been picked or abandoned. It's quite a lot of waste this year, unhappily. It's just the way things have gone. I've mentioned this one, I'm not going to go over it again. Beautiful fruits, these Bullions Runettes, great cookers. We've got a few Spartan I'll be picking over these days. A fair number of these have been picked and sold or indeed given away. When these mature, these are red apple, but when they are left on the trees for some time, they become almost black. So I took some of these into work yesterday, and it's coming off very easily. And friend today, that looks like a plum. We often get that comment. People think they look like plums, delightful apples. The last of the red pippin over here as well. I've mentioned before the red pippin, it was an accidental variety. They were originally called Fiesta, and we were recommended to plant these by the government minister who we asked for some advice, government ministry I should say. And these are quite a good apple of long keeping. They haven't got much flavour. These are a cross between Ida Red, which is a red apple from Idaho, which is a very heavy cropper but pretty tasteless, and Cox's Orange Pippin. And it has some qualities of each. It tastes a lot better than Ida Red, it crops a lot better than Cox's Orange Pippin. But it's not a great heritage apple. It was originally called Fiesta when it was launched in, I think, 1996, or was it 86, I can't remember. No, it must have been 86, we planted this orchard in 92. Anyway, today we're picking over, sorry, the apple I showed you first was the Sturmer Pippin. This is the last apple that we pick. This holds on a very long time. I'll just give it a little shake. See, it's not readily falling off, is it? These are quite prone to scab, and they often develop this sort of, you can see it's taken quite a bit of it to pick it, they often develop this sort of greyish green sort of appearance. It makes them completely unsaleable, but it doesn't affect the eating or storing quality. So again, it's a great backyard apple, very long keeper. You can keep this sometimes through until June the following year, but you've got to really hit them very hard with fungicide if you want to prevent them getting this greyish splashing which they often develop. A good apple for the cider maker because it contains a lot of vitamin C, very high vitamin C levels, and so in some years, and this has been a funny year, the fruit will mature very early, maybe quite high sugar levels but not very good acid levels, particularly in storage. And you do need a certain amount of fruit acid if you're making cider. If you don't have enough fruit acid, then you'll get a lot more fungal disease, you'll get more disease in the cider, bacterial spoilage. So the key to making good cider, start with good apples, make sure they're ripe, a good mixture of apples, good sterility. I do use a bit of sulphite, I think nearly everybody does, Camden tablets, and you do need to make sure there's enough acid in the mix. Sometimes a bit of Bramley will really help, but don't try to make an apple cider with too much Bramley. And this is the apple with Sarah and I picking over today. I won't film Sarah doesn't like being filmed. Her autism, but she's helping me today, and these are extremely ripe examples of Winter King. This apple was originally named Winter King. It was renamed Winston in honour of Sir Winston Churchill, the British World War II leader. No disrespect to the great man, but we like the original name Winter King. And this is a long-keeping apple. It's a very reliable cropper, and it's quite a long keeper, and has a very good flavour. I've often mentioned that this is a good choice for a late winter apple. Julia has told me, she does all the marketing, I'm too busy doing other things which and actually earn much more money, that she's told me she can only sell bigger ones because we don't do the farmers markets anymore. We only do we sell to greengrocers, and they can only sell the big shiny attractive apples. This is a very good cropper, a very reliable fruiter, but it does need to be thinned quite hard, and I did thin this but not quite hard enough. It tends to set 6 or 7 apples to a bunch. It needs to be thinned very, very radically indeed to get apples of a decent size. And this year, guess what? I was too busy doing medical education work, which involves a lot of travelling, a lot of preparation, a lot of writing, and earns quite good money, unlike the orchard. So stuff like that got neglected. Never mind, these will be apples this size, so they're perfectly edible. Of course, I'll go into cider. Really strong crunch, all packed with flavour. Not too acid. Definitely, I think this is a low acid year for cider. And that means you need to get on with the pressing. And probably bung in a few more Bramleys than you might normally think. Anyway, rambled a bit. How are you getting on, Sarah? Yeah. And this will be okay if we put it in cider, into cider, I should say. But obviously can't be sold. Yeah, I'm already eyeing up some savage pruning cuts I'll need to make this year. This is a branch that's cropped really heavy. You can see that this branch was sort of up in the air. And we didn't grow at this angle. This branch will have been, you know, up here. But the sheer weight of fruit has pulled it down. So pruning cut this year. I'm not going to prune it now. But there's two pruning cuts I could make here. Could make a cut there, and that's a very attractive idea. If I could cut there, then this good upright branches will grow strong. And I might do that. However, we are trying to grow the trees in a more upright sort of way. We've got a nice, strong, steady upright growth here coming from below. So I might make a pruning cut there. A really savage cut, about a foot above the ground. Probably this branch shouldn't have been allowed to grow that low anyway. This is the sort of shape that we want. Sort of shape. It's a sort of extended it's halfway between a sort of shape is halfway between a bush and a pyramid. Anyway, I'm rambling on a little bit now, just mainly posting this to, you know, keep up, say howdy. These trees should have been thinned a bit harder, because, you know, small apples like that you can't sell them. You want apples this sort of size usually. So yeah, just signing off from the orchard for now. I'll be pressing cider at the weekend, I expect.